Okay, guys, we're going to talk about defense today, and there's a number of things that you can do to improve your defense. Uh, there are things that you can do to where you don't even have to focus on defense as a stat. Okay, defense is widely misunderstood, and so hopefully I can shed a little bit of light on that. So let me talk about the things before we get to defense that hopefully you've got on lockdown, and then from there you're going to want to focus a little bit more on defense, maybe. So first, get your ego out of the game. Your ego should not be tied to you getting attacked. Okay? If somebody comes and attacks you, they defeat your army, they don't plunder, they move on, there's no reason to get mad. No reason to get mad. They didn't do anything to impact you. It doesn't count against you in any way. It truly, it has zero impact on you other than you see a little red thumbs down in your list, your event list. Two, if your scheduling is on lockdown, then nobody should even have an opportunity to plunder you. And a lot of folks, and I see this a lot of times in the forums and in videos, uh, they when they get plundered, they're mad at the person that plundered them. When in fact, through scheduling, you can control whether or not you get plundered. And I hear a lot of excuses. Well, I'm not able to get there, or I'm not. That's a you problem. That's not the person that's attacking you problem. That's you. You need to get that on lockdown. So first, get your ego out of the game. Get your scheduling on lockdown. Don't give them a reason to plunder you. They shouldn't have anything to plunder. Next, stay on your block. The longer you can stay on your block, that means you're moving up on your block. All right? And so if you may want to think, well, I can get to the next block. You don't want to go to the next block because you're going to be low on the block. So you want to go from 70th or 75th on your block. You want to get all the way up to 5th. Stay there. Don't go to the next block if you don't have to. If you take a look at me, I'm in the high Middle Ages here. You look at my block, I'm in 8th place. I have no desire. It's Sunday. It's Sunday and block change is going to happen tonight, right? I have no desire to go up a block, although I could. And to show you that, if I go to my research technology tree, you could see I'm ready to go into the late Middle Ages. I've put points into the crane in biology. I'm 1 point away from closing them out. I've got a full day of points that I'm going to accumulate. I should, in theory, make a lot of headway into the second tier. I have no desire to, and I won't. I won't do it until at least tomorrow because I do not want to change blocks. So stay on your block. 1, get your ego out. 2, scheduling. 3, stay on your block. Fourth, the best defense is a good offense. And when you look at my map, my city, you might say, well, you're not all that offensive. Aren't I, though? I've got 3 buildings. And you might say, 3 buildings, that's 6 guys. Even if you bought, the third slot on each of them, that's 9 guys. And that's what I did. I bought the third slot in each of them. 9 guys, and I can put up an effective defense. Not only can I put up an effective defense, I can put up an effective offense. So to make that point, if we go to news, event history, and we look at if we look at the towers, you could see I'm second. So I am participating in my tower. So, the best defense is a good offense. That's true. Not only that, how likely are people to attack me knowing that I'm in the towers, knowing that I'm fighting? If I'm second in my towers, what does that mean when you attack me? Does that mean maybe I might come attack you? Something to think about when they're attacking me, right? So have a good offense. Get in the towers. There were only that's a High Middle Ages tower. I'm in the High Middle Ages. There were 12 people in that tower. Most folks on my block are in the High Middle Ages, so that means there are about 60 people that are not participating in the towers. Guess who are going to be the folks that are going to get attacked? It's not going to be the guys in the tower. It's going to be the guys that are not in the tower. So get in the towers, participate. Plus, it's going to help you get better at using your military. Porcupining. That's another good strategy. So when somebody does attack me, what happens? When I came on this block, I came on this block in 15th place. I'm now in 8th place. So I haven't moved up a whole lot. But I did get attacked. First day I got on the block, I got attacked. The person that attacked me lost 6 troops. That's a pretty expensive price to pay to beat me. And So, why would that person want to attack me again? So porcupining is great. Make them pay. The way you do that is with your troop selection. Light infantry and ranged are a great way to porcupine. A lot of folks, they want to do heavy infantry, and in the earlier epochs that makes sense. But a lot of people want to do it with trebuchets or cannons. That's fine too. There are a number of ways to do it. This is the way that I find I can be offensive and defensive and only have 3 buildings and only need to use 3 buildings. So you use whatever's best for you, but porcupining, make sure that you make them pay when they do attack you. And sometimes you can't. If they're 2 epochs ahead of you, there's not much you're going to be able to do about it. The next thing you do is when you do get attacked, put a decoy out. So always have a decoy. Once I lose, I always leave a decoy for that person to plunder. I don't want them to plunder one of my one-day build outs. What I want them to do is plunder that 5-minute or 1-hour build out. So what I'll typically do is once I've been plundered, I'll leave an alchemist up and I'll have it on a 5-minute or 15-minute, 5 or 15-minute rotation, and that will sit there all day, and that will that's what I'm going to let them plunder. Or I'll leave a house, leave one house alone, let them plunder that. And more often than not, they'll take it because they've already paid a price. They realize they're not going to get anything. They'll take a chance and take whatever that one thing was that I've left out for them. So leave a decoy. That's a great strategy. Okay. Another one is security through obscurity. I'm not a big fan of this, but you'll see a lot of folks do this. When you look at, say, Miss Liberty here, when you saw my city, everything was nice, neat rows. You had, everything in its place, right? You saw production in the middle. You saw military on the outskirts, great buildings on the outskirts. And in Miss Liberty's case, she goes completely bonkers with chaos, right? There is order here, but only she really knows it. She's got, when this thing finally loads, you'll see she's got buildings all over the place. And so I have to look, where is the monastery? Does she have one? Does she have any watchfires? What military does she have? And so I have to really concentrate and pay attention to her. Her position on the block doesn't prevent me from attacking her. But all of this obscure, this is a mess to me. But to her, it's managed chaos. She's got her monastery right here in the middle. She's got a legionnaire over here, some archery over here, and she's down here. She's got mounted archer ranges. You go back up to the top. She's got some kind of heavy infantry back here, and some more buildings over here. Like it. She's got a mercenary way over here, kind of blends in, looks like the marketplace, right? So she's got a lot of stuff in here, and I don't want to take inventory, so I'll usually just leave this kind of nonsense alone. But I wouldn't count on it as a solid tactic. There are people that will just go down the line, attack, 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 attack. They don't care. They don't care what you got. They're just going to attack. Okay, so those are the things that you can do before you even get to defense as a statistic. All right, I'd encourage you guys, get your ego out of the game, get your scheduling in place. That's a you problem. That's not the plunderer's problem. Make sure you stay on your block as long as you can. Get in the towers. Okay, even if you only have 3 buildings, you can get in those towers. Porcupine, right? Make them pay if you can. Security through obscurity. Not the biggest fan of that, but if that works for you, great. Setting out decoys for when you do lose, right? That's important as well. Doing all of those things, you can actually minimize your need for defense as a statistic. Okay, now I can't separate my ego completely, so I do put up defense. I put up a defense, and maybe at the end game, defense becomes more important. But what I can tell you right now, up to this point, defense as a statistic is not that important. And in fact, it doesn't have the impact that people think it has. So let's do some math, right? Fun. When you look at my city, you look at my offensive buildings. I've only got 2. I've got the cathedral, which is giving me 18% attack and defense, and then I've got Statue of Zeus, which is giving me 15% attack and defense. That's only when I'm attacking. When I'm defending, right, when somebody's attacking my city, I've got the monastery, which gives me 20% defense, and then I've got 10 watchfires, which give me 40% defense. Now, that might look good. When you add them up, it's 60% defense. And if I was to fight myself, let's bring it over here. If I was to fight myself, I would have 33% attack and defense versus 60% defense. And that might look good. That might look good on paper. But the reality is it doesn't. It's not good. It's, in fact, I'm not presenting this person a challenge at all. Okay, unless they're bad. I mean, if they're bad, you can't. There's nothing you can do about that. But if this person knows what they're doing, they should be able to beat this fairly easily. But what it does do is it makes my porcupine strategy effective. And that's what I'm after. I'm not looking to win. I'm looking for my porcupine to have a few more quills. So in order for these troops to be equal, right, for my attacker bonus to truly be equal to my defender bonus, there has to be a 4-to-1 ratio between the two. That means that for every 1% of attacker bonus, I need 4% of defender bonus. Okay, so that means that I would need about 130%, 132% defender bonus to be able to equal this 33% attacker bonus. You say, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Well, while it's true that my defense has gone up, my offense has not from the defender's perspective. So what that means is, while these guys are hitting me hard, and while I am, taking some, mitigating some of that damage, when I go to attack them, I'm not hitting them hard. I'm hitting them against, a 33% defense. I'm hitting them with my same old attack. So it's not the same. So what does that look like? If you were to take just my berserkers, if I was fighting myself, this is what the berserker would look like. And this is what my defense is. So he's got almost 7 points more attack, and yet I've only got 4 more points of defense. They don't equal. So that's why you need 4 defense points for every attacker bonus. And especially once you move up, right? So you can imagine once I get into the next epoch, if and this is typically what happens, right? Usually the bullies on the block, they come at you with stronger forces. They don't come at you with equal forces. And so you can imagine a great sword warrior coming after, say, my berserker. He's just going to hammer them home. It doesn't matter what my defense is, right? He's gonna nail them. Even if he had stock guys, right? He's gonna kill my guys. So for whatever that's worth, 4 points to every 1 point of 4 points of defender bonus for every 1 point of attacker bonus. And that only makes the troops equal. You have to remember that the attacker has the advantage. The attacker has the advantage in that he's actually playing against an AI, right? You don't get to control your forces. If you got to control your forces, then it might be even more equal, but you don't. He gets to control the forces. He has the advantage. So keep that in mind as well. What you're trying to do is level the playing field as much as possible so that your porcupine strategy can come into effect. Okay, so what impacts, you could see I've got attacker bonus and defender bonus, and these are my buildings. How it works is like this. So for attack bonuses, you got Statue of Zeus, the Aachen Cathedral, and the Castel del Monte. I don't have the Castel del Monte yet, but those three buildings are cumulative. For the defense bonus, it's Monastery, Watchfires, the St. Basil Cathedral, and the Deal Castle. I don't have the cathedral or the castle, but those 4 buildings are how you can add to your defense. Now, you have to weigh, while I only have 3 buildings here, 3 military buildings, I do devote a good amount of map space to defense. So I've got 9 spaces here and then an additional 10 spaces. That's 19 spaces. That means I could have 2 more buildings if I wanted to, right, instead of having defense. And so that is a way to put up a deterrent, right? Instead of, let's say you don't have these buildings, but you have the same map space, and you're going to put two more military buildings into play. What you should do is have military buildings that are not the same as, say, your core three. And what you want to do is you want to rotate your troops every single day. So maybe on Monday I'm going to have archers and berserkers. On Tuesday I'm going to have archers and heavy infantry. On Wednesday I'm going to have heavy infantry and berserkers. And by rotating the troops, you have a slight advantage. Because what happens is, and we're going to show this in an attacking video, but the attacker logs what you have. He remembers, he knows what you put up yesterday. And so if you can rotate your troops and befuddle him, then he won't be able to bring in your counter, right? So you can imagine if I put in troops and berserkers, well, maybe he's going to bring in cavalry and cannons, right, to offset that. Fantastic, fantastic counter. Maybe he's going to bring in heavy infantry and cannons. I don't know, but he's going to bring in the counter to your troops. But if you keep rotating your troops, he can't effectively bring in a counter to them. He's going to bring in some canned offense, and it may or may not work, and he may just ultimately pull out. So if you don't have defense, use the map space for a couple additional buildings, rotate troops, and do it daily. And even if you wanted to, do it twice a day. Doesn't hurt. But make sure there's some synergy between those troops that you do put on defense. I think I've covered just about everything that I wanted to cover. I know this is a pretty long video. If you have any questions, by all means, hit me up. Thanks. Bye.